At this point, it's irresponsible to even entertain the notion that 2020 is anywhere near done with us, right? As people, okay? Welcome back to another episode of Getting Up Raw. And in this episode, we are getting up raw with Mr. Possible President Kanye West himself. Yes, you've heard correctly. Unless you've been living under a rock, over the weekend, Kanye West announced his possible candidacy for President of the United States of America. He's running for 2020. He recently had an interview with Forbes, and he's 100,000,000% for real. Okay? Nothing should surprise us at this point, okay? After 2016, we know the potential of having a public figure that isn't a politician or a lawyer or whatever, It could literally be a reality TV star with a racist resume and rape allegations and whatever. And it could also be a musician slash, design business mogul. So nothing should surprise us at this point. And Kanye West, if there's anything we know about Kanye West, he's fucking for real. All right, he means it when he says he's gonna do something. He puts his mind to it. He doesn't. Whether you like the man or not, he is arguably one of the most successful rappers of all time. Right? Whatever he puts his nose into, he dives into it and goes balls deep. Always. Okay. He had his thing, his sneaker deal with Nike that fell through. He switched to Adidas and became more successful than ever. He has his Yeezy brand, which is now collaborating with Gap and making the Yeezy brand more available to people with, I don't want to say less income, just make it more affordable, right? It's not going to be a $300 white t-shirt. So listen, Kanye's serious about this stuff, and I want to go over a couple of points that he's made for his possible run, right? He's obviously missed the deadline in a lot of states to kind of put his ballot in, but he apparently has established some sort of connection with the White House and Jared Kushner, and he's working with them to sort of expedite his process and grant some sort of extension because of the whole COVID situation. Speaking of COVID, Kanye was very vocal or very candid about Donald Trump this time around. He said that he's taking off the MAGA hat with this interview, which is obviously very symbolic because they've sort of become synonymous, Kanye and the MAGA hat, over the past couple of years. But he says he's done with him. Kanye's done with Donald Trump. Why? Because he didn't like the way he handled the pandemic, and he didn't like the way he handled the Black Lives Matter protests, right? He says that Donald Trump hiding in the bunker put a bad taste in his mouth, right? That's not verbatim. I think he said he didn't like that. He didn't like Donald Trump hiding in the bunker when he caught wind of that. Something like that. Some of the quote. I'm going to leave the article in the description below. But yeah. And listen, apparently he had coronavirus too. Apparently he had COVID. Apparently he was very sick. And I said apparently a lot. Unlike that kid. Remember that kid a couple years ago? The apparently kid? And apparently he had coronavirus. I love that guy. But yeah, no, he did. And whether or not he got the swab or the antibody test, we're not sure. But we when it comes to Kanye, you just got to go with what he says sometimes. But let's go over some of his points here because I think it's obviously very important. If you're going to see Kanye West on the ballot come this November, you got to know what this man stands for. So let's go ahead and do that. Obviously, he's a very religious man. So having said that, he doesn't really support the idea of expediting a vaccine. And I understand his trepidation, right? I mean, I've spoken with the scientific community, and there's a consensus, right? The vaccinations are templates, right? You take the sequence, you take the schematic, and you apply it to whatever you're working on. In this case, coronavirus, right? But Kanye he's apprehensive to it, which is fine. He says he's been praying every night for a cure. Let's see how far that gets us. But there's a direct quote he says here where he says he questions the effectiveness of the vaccine, and he says that it's the mark of the beast. Okay. Another quote to Forbes. It's so many of our children that are being vaccinated and paralyzed. So when they say that we're going to fix COVID is with the vaccine, I'm extremely cautious. I'm not reading it right because Kanye obviously has a very different flow when he speaks. And when you write it down, it's just, I can't really get the right tone and cadence of his voice. But look, that's the first stance. That's where he stands with vaccination. Let's keep going here. He's pro-life and believes Planned Parenthoods have been placed inside cities by white supremacists to do the devil's work. Okay, so there you have it. Mr. Kanye West, as a self-identifying man, has gone ahead and condemned the work of Planned Parenthood. So, okay, that's something to keep in mind come November. He wants to reinstate prayer in schools. I mean, duh. Mr. Kanye West is obviously a very religious man. We've seen in the past couple of years with his last CD, Jesus is King, right? And his last song that he released with Travis Scott, right? Wash Us in the Blood. Obviously very sacred, right? The theme is obviously the blood of Christ, washing, absolving ourselves of tragedy, sins, and whatnot. So this comes to no surprise to me, and shouldn't to you, to be honest. He is anti-capital punishment. Okay, that's something that I can get behind, right? And I think he kind of dropped that as a hint in his last song as well, or Travis Scott did, when they're talking about the death penalty and 30-something states that still execute, something like that. Check out the song. I'll leave the link in the description below too. Why not? And he intends to end police brutality, but believes police are people too. Absolutely. Okay. So that's the thing with Kanye. He's not a completely irrational person, right? He's got sensibility. And you have to have some sort of grounding, right? To do what you've done, right? To be as successful as you are. You have to be a little crazy, but you have to also have some sort of grounding, right? Some sort of sensibility and rationale to actually set forth your visions and your plans and actually have them come to fruition. And look, he said in the interview that Kim Kardashian and Elon Musk, those two will be his top advisors, and Elon Musk will be head of Space Force, right? What a world we're living in. Okay, this is it. This is 2020. And the year's not done, people. Okay, we're halfway done. So please stay on your toes, okay? Because there's more shit coming next, I'm sure. I mean, these episodes of Getting Up Raw they write themselves. Right? I never have to struggle for a topic. That's for sure. I just wake up and I'm like, oh, wow, all right. We're talking some shit today, because that's always the case. That's how it's been this year so far. But having said that, I'm going to go ahead and toss it over to you guys. I want to know, what damage do you think Kanye West can do come November? And I say damage because, listen, whether or not he is going to take votes away from Joe Biden, right? Which he also addresses in the interview with Forbes. He says he doesn't care. And to equate the black vote with the Democratic ballot is racist. So I get that, absolutely. But, nevertheless, it's still damage. It's damage to Joe Biden's campaign or damage to Donald Trump's campaign if Kanye runs against Donald Trump, right? So he's going to be taking votes away from somewhere. And what damage can be done, And that could be good damage, right? Depending on how you see it. Can Kanye West win this presidency? I don't know. I like to keep my mouth shut after 2016 because I talked a lot of shit in 2016, admittedly. I did, right? A lot of people did. No one thought what happened was possible, but it happened. So, I'm going to pick your brains now. Comment down below, and we'll have an open discussion, civil discourse, as always. Don't yell at me for my opinions. I won't yell at you for yours. Unless, of course, you're being rude and you're hating and you're discriminating and you're attacking ad hominem, then fuck you. No, I'm kidding. We'll talk. We'll converse. But thank you so much for watching. Please like, subscribe, and peace out, people. Nothing but love. Remember, that's my campaign. I'm gonna run for president at this point, man. Nothing but love, 2020, right? Oh, by the way, the name of Kanye's political party, is called the Birthday Party, because every day it's your birthday or something like that when Kanye's president. No. I have to pull this up. I'm sorry. I do have to pull this up. So, because it's actually fantastic. Okay, yeah, it's the birthday party, because when we win, it's everybody's birthday. Boom. That's it. Said from the man himself. Peace and nothing but love.